Yeah.
Kelly, we can start anywhere you like. So would you like to start with, how about your vision? Like what kind of BSO can we expect to see?
Yeah, the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra is 100 years old, and in being 100 years old, it has an opportunity to reinvent itself for the next century. So in order to do that, what we really aspire to is to connect to our various communities within the Lower Mainland. And that means we have to be a great shapeshifter. We have to be able to change what we do to meet the different needs. So one night we may do Harry Potter with film, and the next night we will do Beethoven, and the next night we may do a world premiere of a new piece that has just been written. And so the future really requires us to be flexible and agile and to reinvent ourselves. So we have to be curious. I think that's my vision for the company, that we remain curious about the future.
Can you elaborate more? What kind of programming can we expect to see?
Well, the programming I think you'll expect to see will be really connected to what's important to our region here. As we look around Vancouver, it's beautiful. The environment is wonderful. I think you'll see more connections of music that relates to our environment. I think you'll see more work that is multimedia. This is a great film town. So I think music and film make a perfect pair. So reinventing the concert experience. There has been a long period of time where the orchestra is on stage, people come into the auditorium, they sit down and be quiet and listen to the music. And I think we're really excited about reinventing the concert experience. You may come to a concert and sit in a concert where you're sitting next to the musician who's playing the music, and that would be very different. I think you'll see more technology of visuals being combined with symphonic music, and I think you'll see more artists that are taking chances of playing music differently. And I think we're really curious about who those artists are and bringing them to Vancouver.
Is this something we can see in this season, or is it more talk about?
Yeah, I think so. In this season, we've had a long history of doing film, and so we have Harry Potter that will be happening in June. And so that is, if you haven't seen a live film with a live orchestra playing the score simultaneously, you can see that this June. You also will be inviting James Ennis, who is Canada's most famous violinist. He'll be joining us for a gala in June as well on the 100th. And he's going to be playing with musicians that came out of our School of Music. So they'll be playing music from the past and the future with future musicians. And we've hired a videographer to actually tell our history simultaneously. So you'll see a little bit of the multimedia in that 100th anniversary concert. And I think there's something for everybody in this season.
So which among all the wonderful series, which one is the most popular one?
Oh, that's a hard one. If we look at our audience, the majority of people come for the classical symphonic music, so the Beethoven, the Brahms, the Dvorak, what you think about for symphony music, that still is by far our largest audience. The second audience are audiences that really love the grand music of musicals, Hollywood, what we call pops music, and that's our second largest audience. But we have a great family fare. So we have concerts for families, which are from ages 5 to 12 years old, and they come with their families and they explore music along with the orchestra, and those are very popular as well.
Mm-hmm. So is there a special area that you want to focus your work?
Yeah, I think that what you'll see evolve with the orchestra is that we will want Vancouver Symphony to be the starting point for new projects. The artists today, the musicians today that are playing, they have passion projects. That's what we call them, passion projects. So we'll have an artist who may be passionate, to give an example, about gender equality, women's voices. So we have women from all different aspects of classical music coming, telling their story, inspiring other women to do their best at their work, not only off stage, but also on stage. Then working with the School of Music to inspire women to take up instruments and play at their best capacity. One of the areas that we really would like to expand is the number of women conductors. And that is something that we really are looking forward to doing some mentoring, bringing women here, working with the orchestra, and developing their technique so that there are more women on the podium.
And I guess with all this new things happening, it's very different from the orchestra that we imagined 100 years ago.
Yeah, you know, orchestras 100 years ago were not fixed ensembles. They would bring people together and they would play the music that had just been written. It's hard for us to imagine that when Beethoven wrote his work, when they were performed, they were rebels. That people booed and it sounded unfamiliar, and it's now music that we love. And so I think what you'll see is that music will continue to be loved, but we will champion other music of other composers. Orchestras didn't stay as an ensemble and tour. That's one of our ambitions, not only to stay at home, but to carry the Vancouver flag to other places. So to take the orchestra and tour China, to tour Europe, to really give our style and the things that we think are unique about our orchestra and share them with other places. And I think that's something that is unique to a modern orchestra.
And I think also the social context also changed, right?
Yes, yes.
Vancouver is a multicultural society, so how are you guys going to do anything to reflect this future?
And I think that's collaboration. So bringing artists from China or bringing an artist from another place to work with us so that we blend the musical styles together and we create something new that is unusual and relevant to our community here. So I think you'll see the orchestra being much more collaborative and inviting artists not only to come for one concert, but to immerse themselves in the community. So they may do concerts with the orchestra, they may join us in the School of Music and mentor other students, they may travel to other community groups and perform for them. So really immerse themselves in several days, you know, or a week long in our community.
So what's the biggest challenge that you have faced at your...
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge for the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra and other orchestras is that I call it the digital divide, is we all have these wonderful devices, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a computer, that we get our entertainment on. And we forget how powerful sitting in an audience and hearing the music live. And I think it's finding that balancing act of where we invite people in to have that live experience, but then we use the digital aspects of these devices to expand our audience. And I think it's finding that next audience that is going to love the music that symphony orchestras play as much as the current generation. I think it's possible. I think the next generation is the most curious generation that has ever come to be. And it'll be our biggest challenge, though, is to see how do we invite and welcome them in.
And how would you compare audience in Vancouver and an audience in Seattle?
I think the audiences in Vancouver are adventuresome. They are not afraid to try things new. I think they are I think the way they're different is they are very last minute. That's something that it's okay to just show up the night of a concert. And for those of us who presents concerts, that's always you're biting your nails. You're nervous about whether the audience is going to be there, but then they show up, and that's really different. And I think it's because there's so much going on. Nobody wants to miss out, so they wait to the last minute to see what's the most favorite thing that there is to do. We've gotten used to that, and it's our challenge to be the favorite thing that everybody chooses so that we have a great audience.
And you mentioned about new media and a new device. Does VSO invest a lot on developing all this new?
Yeah, that is for the future in our strategic plan, is to really be a digital entertainment center as well. So how do we extend that live experience? A live experience is something that is our most important asset, but how do we give people something memorable to stay with them? And that's where digital can really help us as well. So that is where we'll be investing a lot of our time and talent. There's a huge training aspect to that, to how do we do our best in the digital world, where we're all trained to do in the live music world. But I think it's something that we're very excited about.
Is there any orchestra in other cities that are doing this already, and that's something that we can look forward to?
Probably the orchestra that has invested very deeply in the digital world is the Berlin Philharmonic in Germany. They stream all of their concerts in a subscription base. They have a library. They have a wide assortment of content available, and that's something that they were early adopters of the digital stream. So there's a lot that we can learn from them. It's a different country and a different market, but definitely there's examples for us to follow.
So that means it become like a free for public to watch?
There's different models. So some models you have to pay a subscription to be able to access the content. And then there's other models where you can stream a certain amount of content for free. For us, we're really focused that building the next generation of audiences is to have content out there easily accessible. That is going to be our best line to develop the next generation of music lovers.
You mentioned the film series always very popular.
Yeah.
Does it cost a lot to buy the copyright to play in the theater?
There are companies that align all the copyright and the permissions in advance so that we don't have to do that. So it's part of the package. One of the things that we have done in partnership with the City of Vancouver is we recognize that film is going to be a part of our future. So the Orpheum Theatre, when you come to hear the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra with film, has the state-of-the-art screen and sound and projection equipment. So we have purchased those and installed that in the Orpheum Theatre so that it makes doing this kind of work even more affordable.
Was it just done recently, or
Yes, in the last 6 months.
Wow.
Yes, and our vision is to have a completely digital concert hall. So the other phase of the project would be to finish that project and to be able to stream any concert that we perform on the stage to the public. And so that would be the second stage.